Identifying.
The king of cakes. Chopper for the win.
Hi, I'm Claire. I am an Irish comedy vlogger. I make sketch comedy on my channel, my excuse for sketch comedy. I'm just back from a year living in Sydney, back home in Ireland. I met CakesByChoppA when I was living in Sydney, and he's a really good friend of mine. And I happened to tell him that my favourite video game ever was Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Mega Drive. So he said he'd make me a very special cake.
Thanks, Claire, and I appreciate you not mentioning that I promised this 6 months ago. Hey guys, we have Sonic for you today. This one's a little bit tricky. I've color-coded this template for you so we can keep this cake to one sheet cake, which is the size of the A4 paper. You're going to cut out the blue and the orange together, and this is just a guide for now. So you're going to cut out his face twice, and then when you stack it on top of the next one, you're going to cut the top ear off, and it will become his second ear at the side, just like that. Then you're going to cut out each spike individually, and out of the rest of the offcuts, cut out the spikes and apply them to the side. As you can see here, it's just a little bit of dodging around and moving to where these pieces fit, and it will all do it out of one cake. If you need to do multiple cakes, then by all means just cut the template out as one and stack it. Okay, so for the second ear, I've decided to taper down because it looked a little bit big, and then we're going to round off his face at the top. And like always, this is just a rough shaping because you're going to cover it with buttercream, and you can do a little bit of shaping with that. Fill it with buttercream and then attach all the spikes, making sure they're glued together because you don't want your cake falling apart. And then coat the entire thing with a buttercream. The cake I've used here is just a plain vanilla cake with some blue icing. You can use any cake that is sturdy enough to carve. I recommend the vanillas or Madeira cake or a really nice chocolate cake, but it's up to you on what you use as long as it's a firm cake. So once your crumb coat's done, clean off your board and then pop it into the fridge to set for a couple of minutes. If you're going to cover this in fondant, this is where you would add in his eyebrows and his mouth and then cover like you do in another video tutorial. But I decided that I was going to do it just buttercream with some fondant pieces on top. So piping off the edges, and then as you can see here, I've put on his eyebrows, the liners around his ears, and then built up his nose and cheeks. And then I've got to try to get that as smooth as I could. And then I'm ready to do the fondant mouth, which is cutting out from the template. And you can see here, I left about a centimeter border around because that gave it enough room to taper down over the edge and give it that 3D look. You only have to do that with the mouthpiece, and as I said, 1 centimeter all the way around and you should be fine. Then you're going to roll out some white fondant for his eyes, cut out his eye shape, and as you can see here, there's one eye that's a little bit thinner. Cut that slightly bigger just because it goes down the side of his face a little bit, but you're tucking it in and under so it doesn't really affect it too much. Okay, mark in where his mouth would be, and then I'm ready to do his ears, which is just 2 little triangles to put in the piping area where you've added these on, and you just pop them into place, tuck them down. Once you've got them into place, you can start on Sonic's nose, which is just a ball of fondant rolled around and put on 2 toothpicks and pushed into where his nose would be. I would let this set a little bit before you apply it because I poked a hole through mine. Then using some black food gel dye. Now this is a edible product, it is not paint. It is available from Walmart, Spotlight, any caking, crafting store that you have local. Then you can paint on his mouth, go around his eyes and the insides of his ears, and I think that's all you really need because he's a bit of a cartoon character and the features are what stand out the most. People aren't really going to be that fussy, get to go like, oh, his ears aren't lined. Well, I hope not anyway. But I think it looks great how it is, and because you've got the shaping of the cake, it's sort of, you're not only looking at it from one angle. Put some little dots in his eyes, and there you have your Sonic cake. Claire, I hope you liked it, and you guys have requested it a few times, so thanks again. And I have a question for you. What was your favourite video game? Mine was Mortal Kombat. or SingStar. Thanks again for watching. Please check out some of my other cakes, share them with friends and family, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.